Welcome to the Disability Access Hacks workshop. This is a very brief introduction so that we can get going today as quickly as possible to look at your specific issues. The work we're going to do today is definitely based on the social model of disability and its application into activism. The social model of disability shifts responsibility from change from the disabled person to the society in which they live. For example, as a wheelchair user, I am not disabled by using a wheelchair, but I am disabled by a building only having steps to access it. I require the owner of the building to put in a ramp. That's where the responsibility lies. So access solutions are where we need to be taking responsibility on ourselves to take action to make the world more accessible. Obviously, these access solutions should be informed by disabled persons, but actually they should not be the ones that are solely responsible for enacting them, for designing them, etc. And it is quite common that I would suggest that activism and advocacy is actually a necessary step to overturn societal norms which at the moment are rather ableist. By access for all, we're really wanting to have a think here about all aspects of disability and its impact on people's interaction with the world around them. So when we're looking at the solutions today, we want to be, whilst you may come in with specific people in mind who have specific impairments or needs, then we actually want to expand that further and try and think of solutions that are more universally accessible as well. So these are sort of headings for you to start to think about with regards to solutions. We want to think about the visual access of a piece of kit or an environment that you're thinking about, or a protocol, hearing, mobility, speech, understanding information presented, communication, mental well-being, energy limitations, even dietary restrictions and toileting needs. All of these interact, overlap and entangle so that it's challenging to find access solutions, hence the workshop today. And one of the things that often gets asked, particularly when we're looking at disability access solutions, is who is going to pay? Well, obviously, an employer has legal requirements upon them from the 2010 Equality Act to make reasonable accommodations. And sometimes people kind of go, oh, it's going to cost too much money. And that's where we have to start making arguments. We have to think about the lifetime cost of an adjustment. If you put in, for example, standard non-powered doors into a building, but then subsequently further down the line have to retrofit and put powered doors in for somebody who has a specific disability and needs access to that area of the building, that will cost a lot more than had you put powered doors in right at the start of the building's lifespan. So the lifetime costs of doing disability access are often reduced by pre-planning and preparation so that it's put in the first place. Obviously, not putting in accessible solutions can represent a significant reputational risk. There are a lot of stories, for example, of people being embarrassed by a lack of toileting on trains or a lack of assistance to get people off planes. Things like that do damage businesses, do damage industries, and really are no longer socially acceptable. The opportunity cost is one of the areas that I really think we don't focus on enough with regards to disability access. By having a more diverse workforce, by having a more diverse research population, by having those diversity of perspectives and needs, you develop better quality outputs, better quality research, better quality goods and services that more people are willing to pay for, and so it generates more income and more opportunity for future development. Also, there's issues around retention and recruitment of staff. To lose a staff member just because they had a road traffic accident and now walk with crutches, or because they had a stroke and they now have a significant visual impairment, is a substantial loss on the amount of energy and effort you've put into training them, the learning that they've had of your institution, etc. So we've really got to think about this in a different perspective. Diversity is valuable. Disability is one of the major diversities, and it's an intersectional diversity. So we really got to think about it from those points of view. But we've got to know about Access to Work scheme within the UK, where you can ask the government to assist with the additional costs of working while disabled. Grant funders, particularly research grant funders, may have specific pots of money to accommodate access needs, but also maybe able to be asked for further funds, even if they don't realise it at the moment. You may be able to go back to them and sort of go, by the way, did you realise? Or that it's built into the grant that you put in anyway. Specific charities may have offers of small grants usually, or specific pieces of equipment that they've got available to them. And of course, equipment manufacturers, etc., may well be willing to think about making their equipment more accessible if you offer them a development opportunity. So who drives the implementation of these accessibility hacks and solutions? Well, the funders, the regulators, even professional societies can all have a role in driving a culture change, in driving the necessity, in driving standards that are being asked for. Manufacturers can be encouraged down these routes. Principal investigators can absolutely design research, design the work conditions so that they're more accessible. Ethics, health and safety, equality, diversity and inclusion committees all have roles to play in embedding these changes into normal protocols and practices. The learning and teaching teams are usually fabulous in thinking about this stuff, and in my particular, with my particular bias, I believe librarians are absolutely brilliant at assisting this. Obviously, student support has particular expertise, but even then, things like the estates departments have huge amount of expertise around repairs, refurbishments, and will have insight on any new builds that are planned. So this is all the sorts of things we can be thinking about with regards to creating these opportunities for making life more accessible for everybody. Anyway, I hope we have a really great day today. I hope everybody enjoys their Access Hackathon and that we get some really proper, well thought through solutions that can be implemented in your environments. Thank you very much for your time.